Welcome to Company Showcase, an advertising feature on HowStreet.com.
I'm Jim Goddard. I'm speaking with Larry Reaugh, CEO and President of American Manganese. Welcome back to Company Showcase, Larry.
Thank you, Jim.
Larry, more news releases from your office this week?
Yeah, we had an excellent release out on the advancement of our pilot plant processing and our specialized cathode reactor. And we actually have some pictures that look like balls of yarn, but they're microscopically enhanced. And so now you see what the shape of a particle of metal looks like. And but anyway, we had excellent results from that. We're still not reaching the ultimate level that we want to, but we're very, very, very close, and we're excited about that. And on that note, I'd just like to say that American Manganese has the ability to recognize opportunities when they arrive, and we certainly saw that in manganese back in the day. And then when we switched over to battery materials, we certainly used that process as the cornerstone of our battery recycling today. And that if anybody looks at the patent, we used SO2, and we actually stole that from the U.S. Bureau of Mines work back for the last 60 years up to 1980. And when they dropped that program, we started to work on manganese, and then this leads into another part of my story today, which is that we recognize that the U.S. did have manganese, that it was very low grade, and a process had to be developed in order to capitalize on it. We saw the mistakes that were made by the U.S. Bureau of Mines, and they always ended up using high heat at the end of the day, and that evaporated the water, and it also raised the cost considerably on producing a pound of metal. And I'm talking now about electrolytic manganese metal or electrolytic manganese dioxide, which is used in the batteries. So they were pretty much stopped there, but new innovation in filtering allowed us to move this thing through, to get rid of the high heat, to get rid of the bad guys that were produced when you were actually processing it. And we came up with a solution. We actually had a big Japanese firm that was willing to come to the program and become a joint venture partner, and everything was looking good. We were on our feasibility study, and of course, as you all know, the price of manganese destroyed that. So that raises a question: the price of the metal. Well, you look at the price of metal, and it has stopped many feasibility studies. It has stopped many early producers because you couldn't make money at the lower price. And but we're not looking at that so much in the battery innovation. The battery, we just take a pound of cathode material and put it through our total process, get it off of the aluminum, and then run it through leach tests and now through morphology, and we end up with a product that the battery manufacturers want. And that's important. You've got to have the product they want, or else you're selling at the lower end, which is the same price as the commodity itself, and it's probably just going to go into all kinds of various applications. So the idea is to have this from cradle to grave, and we're almost there, and we're pretty happy about that. And that leads us into the molybdenum that I got involved in back in 2003, and we took that product from drilling to a permitted operation for the government, deals with the natives, feasibility studies, and actually a permit to operate. And but we were the first ones out there, and all I'm bringing that up for is that being first is a lot of hard work, because everybody else follows in your footprints, and they don't have to shovel the snow. So but it's a good place to be. At least you know that your instincts were right, that your calculations were right, and this was the area to go into, and that's how we ended up in the battery recycling. So it's not as simple as it looks. It looks good when you look at the press releases and everything, and it's a process, but there's a lot of R&D involved. There's tens of millions of dollars of R&D that has to be spent to do it right. And yet I'm seeing guys that come off of the blueprint and say they're going to build a recycling plant, and they haven't done a thing about their process. They haven't done a thing about they can shred this stuff now, but that entails a pretty sophisticated method to get that cleaned up, so it can go into a metallurgical process. And but it's being the leader of the pack is not necessarily the best way. If things had happened a little earlier, maybe we could have still got the patents. And but we'd be still in the back behind the process that we're doing today. So in order to do these things, you have to have connections with the right people, and we have great connections with Cametco and their CEO, and he is basically independent, but he's got a way of seeing around the corner and knowing things that will work, and knowing things that could produce some profits down the road. And that's what we're all looking at the end, not just the green solution, because you can't gift the world with a green solution if it's going to lose money, because that's not a solution. If you can't make money, you can't produce the product. So we look at ours. Nothing much has changed from the back of the envelope that we used in 2016 to look at the value of the cathode materials and batteries, and then turn that into a solution, and which we've done. We're almost there now. We've just done an MOU with a big potential battery manufacturer, a gigafactory in Italy, and they're very ambitious. They want to be at 71 megs in about 3 or 4 years from now, and the first one is 45. So it's a good place to be. If everybody's wondering where the plant would go, well, that would be a good guess, but it's not necessarily mean that we would have the plant there. We could have 2 plants starting, because we're also looking at bringing in joint venture partners that will fund the first plants and for an interest in the project. I mean, we've spent millions of dollars, well over $10 million on our process, and if you wanted to add in the manganese, you could be looking at up to $25 million that is spent on this effort. It's not something that you cook up in the kitchen. It's something that is R&D, research and development, is trial and error, and you have the right ideas and everything, but you don't have the right mix, you don't have this, you don't have that, so there's a whole lot of millions of dollars worth of R&D that has to be done in order to finesse a solution. So we're happy that we've got Cametco to do that, and I thought a little bit of history would make a little bit of sense on in the last 2 decades, we've had 2-3 innovative products, and now we're coming down to the final stretch on our recycling. We don't publish timelines anymore, because a timeline is also a timeline for predators, and so we stay away from that. Plus, with COVID and everything else, there's always interruptions, and if you don't meet your timeline, like we did on the molybdenum project, we met that timeline, beat it for that matter. And but it was a different time, different place. There was no COVID around. There was no distractions that could sideline the project. So today, with COVID, you making a timeline is just a guess. And but we figure that we'll have a commercial plant within 2 years, and the location we will divulge at some point. But we're pretty happy with the progress that we've made. We're not happy that the market has kind of slowed down on us, but I think that's temporary, and which probably and hindsight, somewhere down a few 2 or 3 months might say, "Jesus, that was a good buying opportunity." But you have to pick your spots. I can't tell you where the spots are, and we're just hoping to see our shareholders rewarded down the road, further rewarded. Right now, they're probably up about 800% from the 20-cent mark, and that's a good place to be. And we seem to be settling in here at the $1.50 to $1.60 range. So, I don't know how long that will go on, but I'm hoping that we'll break out of here sooner than later. I see signs in the market that there could be a breakout, and but I can't put a timeline on that either. But I don't think it's that far away, and I think everybody should be pretty happy with the results that we keep putting out. And we're also, of course, working on manganese again on the stockpile, and there will be results forthcoming on that. And so we've got a full plate. The company is well exposed to all kinds of things, including base metals and precious metals like copper and gold. I couldn't think of a company being in a better position, and we are in a great position to do what we do. And, of course, we seem to be the map for everybody to follow. I notice that we go after scraps. Now everybody's going after scraps. And, but we try to be transparent. The fact of the matter is that nobody was talking about scraps a year ago, and except us. And we recognize that opportunity very early, and because it sidesteps all the shredding and everything else you have to do. So, Jim, it's been another week of further advancements, and now we're coming up to a long weekend, and I wish everybody a great long weekend.
Larry, for people new to American Manganese, where are you traded, and where can they get more information?
We're traded on the Toronto Venture Exchange under the symbol AMY. We're traded in the U.S. under the symbol AMYZFQB, and we're traded on the Frankfurt Exchange under the symbol 2AM. You can find information on our website because it's very transparent at AmericanManganeseInc.com, and you can contact the company here or myself here at Reaugh, LREAUGH at AMYMN.com, or you can phone at 778-574-4444.
Larry, thank you so much for the update.
You're welcome, Jim.
My guest has been Larry Reaugh, CEO and President of American Manganese. I'm Jim Goddard. Our conversation took place on April 1st.
Comments made on Company Showcase are an expression of opinion only and should not be construed in any manner whatsoever as recommendations to buy or sell any financial instrument at any time. Archived online at HowStreet.com. Company Showcase is a production of How Street Media Incorporated.